Hello and welcome. I hope today the audio might be a little bit better than last time. I'm trying something out. Let me know if you cannot hear me or if it doesn't sound good. And now, let's get into the topic of today. What not to do in Japan, my biggest mistakes. I have essentially 3 for you, but probably as I talk and as this live stream then progresses, I will come up with a couple of more of them. I might remember some more. And also, I like to invite you to share anything that you have to offer, anything you have to bring to the table from your experiences or from what you have heard, maybe some friends too. So the first time for me, and this was in the context, it's exceptionally embarrassing. So kind of, maybe not so much, but for me, I probably will never forget that. The first time I went to Japan was in 2009, now 11 and a half years ago. And I went there to train Aikido. And I think we arrived on the Friday morning or Thursday night. And the first training was at the Aikikai Hombu Dojo, which is in Tokyo, at 4 in the afternoon, around, I think, on Saturday. And our teacher who was giving this training was waiting for us in the front of the dojo. I had met him twice before, and I was on 2 of his seminars. And we approached, so he was waiting in front of the dojo. We approached him, and first a very senior disciple of him greeted him. He has been a student at that point for about 30 years. And he hugged him, essentially, like he did that. And then after that was me, the person who had seen him twice. And I thought, okay, the one before me hugged him, so I also did that. And I didn't do it. It wasn't a proper hug because I was having my training bag in one hand. So I did just a little bit, kind of the gesture, but there was no feeling or meaning to that so much. And then after that was my teacher, and he did not hug him. He bowed in front of him. And then I realized, oh, maybe that was not so appropriate. And this was... Back then, I didn't feel so super embarrassed, but now when I think back, now that I have, until his passing, I had created a much stronger connection to him. I felt that was very inappropriate and it's totally embarrassing, even now when I think back. Now, this was the first one. Already one commented. Moin, I hope you're doing well. It's actually evening now. It's 20 to 11 p.m. Then the second one, it's not really embarrassing, but something I still cannot do properly, and that's timing in Japan. What I mean by that is, for example, in Germany, if we greet somebody, we say hello, and then the other person says hello, or the other person says hello, and then we say hello. But in Japan, usually it's like you see the person, you say it. It's not like bum, bum. It's not like ping, pong. It's like ping at the same time. So you see them, you say it, even if they may not see you because they don't look your way or so. You say it at the same time, and I'm absolutely still not used to that. Another thing is timing in traffic. So, for example, and I'm halfway there, I think. So I would say it's much more explicit than what I'm used to. And what I mean by that is, if there's a car approaching behind, then you go to the side and stand and wait until it passes by you. So it's very clear that you will not moshi moshi. Yes, I mean, if you take this as a phone call, then yes, moshi moshi. So it's very clear that you are not in the way of the car, and you will not, and then the car can go past you. And Germany would just go a little bit to the side, but continue walking. Probably Japanese car drivers then would be confused or think you have not noticed them. And the other way around, when I'm driving car, and for example, somebody's parking, and I know that they are here, it's like this. They're here, I'm approaching from here, and I know they go back. So once I'm there, they will be not. However, my wife, who's sitting next to me, goes crazy. She's like, stop. And that's like, why? So understand the necessity of their explicitly waiting in a safe distance until the person has parked. So that's number 2. But some of the mistakes I always do. The walking thing is kind of okay. I get that. Now I do it too explicit in Germany, but in Japan it's okay. And the third one that's actually not mine, but a friend of mine did that. So in France and Italy and sometimes in Britain, when you say cheers, you might say chin chin, which has Chinese roots actually, but apparently it's not said in China anymore. And so my wife, when she was in Germany, a friend visited us and we had a drink and he said chin chin. And this means this is the name for the male genital in Japanese. So don't do that except if you want to make a fool out of yourself or have a good laugh with the people in the room. So that's not mine, but there are a couple of others. Other words that exist, for example, in German that are not it's a little bit explicit in Japanese, but we don't have to go into too much details. Or maybe later in the stream, if you convince me, I should. So first of all, welcome, all the 7 of you, and all the 3 of you that commented so far. Thank you for being here tonight. So actually, I was thinking about getting a tea because in the last stream on Wednesday, a generous viewer contributed 2 donations of $5 each to buy tea and then another tea. But I didn't find a good one. And also I have a friend here who has a tea store. I haven't visited him in years, so probably I will go there and then invest this $10 into his business and get myself a nice tea. Oh, let me switch off sound. Then today, I hope you all had a great day. I had an exhausting day, but it was good. So maybe not make it too long today, but I went to a town called Obuse. That's not so far from here. It's like 14 kilometers from where I live. But I went by bike because I didn't want to, collectively, my wife and I decided that I should not go onto a train if I don't have to. So I just took the bike. However, it was raining all the time. I thought it would not. So I checked the weather forecast and it said, should rain in 2 hours for 1 hour. I was like, okay, probably it will stop soon. Let's go. It didn't stop. It didn't stop until the evening. When I was back, it was still raining. So I was like 28 kilometers in the rain. However, it was kind of okay. It got a little bit cold because then it got like close to snow. So maybe like 3 degrees-ish or so. It became a little bit cold as I became wetter and wetter. And still, this town is very nice. So I will probably go back there once the weather is nicer, maybe springish, April or so. You may or may not know Hokusai. Probably you know some of Hokusai. Oh, thank you. First of all, Tach, Benjamin, good to have you here. And Rimi Senpai says, today the room is bright and colorful. I like the new lighting. Yes, that's actually that's my usual. That's my usual background, and I switch it on and put the blue lamp that's usually here. So I'm glad you like it. And Dimitris, thank you for being here. And why is it raining in Athens? It's not supposed to do that. I thought it's always great weather, at least when I'm there. I hope one day I will be able to go there again and visit you. So coming back to Obuse, and what I mentioned before, Hokusai. So Hokusai was a Japanese artist, maybe the most well-known. So probably most of you are familiar with the big wave of Kanagawa. So there's this, so you probably know this kind of wave like this, and there are a couple of, I think 3 boats. And in the background is Mount Fuji. And this was created, so if you Google Japanese old picture or something, probably this comes up first. And this is like the archetypical Japanese picture of the Edo period. And this was created by this artist Hokusai. Exactly, the Great Wave. As Katillo knows. So, and he spent 4 years in his, I think, around his I think when he was 84, so he came to this area and he passed away when he was 90. So 4 years he spent in Obose. And he made also a couple of paintings and 2 floats, which are visible in the Hokusai Museum, which is there, and I went there. I'm not actually sure if I could videotape them, because in some rooms it said you can take pictures, but no, without flash, but not in that room. So I'm not sure if then I'm supposed to not do that also. But I didn't take a video today. So that's the one thing. They have Hokusai. Not to, by the way, when at first I mistook Hokusai and Hakusai. Hakusai is what's it? Kale. And Hokusai is an artist. Kale. Cabbage, maybe. And then the second thing is they have sake. So a couple of famous sake breweries. So you can get there, get some sake, maybe get a tour of the brewery if you register early. Then another thing is chestnuts. So they have a lot of chestnuts, sweets and cakes and things like that. And also after the Hokusai museum, I was cold. And I found a very nice Italian restaurant, which has great cost performance. So it was like lunch for 1,850 yen, which is around 16 euros, maybe $18, $19 plus tax. So in total, maybe $20. But it's like we get like a soup and a plate of different stuff and your noodles and the dessert and the coffee or something. So, and it's really good and well presented. So highly recommend. And maybe then next time when I go there in a couple of months, I will be able to present you the restaurant on video as well. Also, while going there, I found a nice temple, which and connected to the temple, I was exciting to see a dojo actually. So temple, everything quiet. And then all of a sudden I hear screams from the side. And like, huh? And then you see a building and the gate, the door, it says in kanji, dojo. And then there were like two young guys fighting for points, I think, because it also made this beep sound. And like essentially, huh. So that was nice because I like martial arts. So that's, I like this. So I immediately like this temple, even though usually I feel more attracted to shrines than to temples. And soon after then, when I arrived in Obose, I found also a very nice shrine. And I will probably post pictures or so on Instagram tonight or tomorrow. So that was my today. Then I came back here, took a quick shower to warm up again. And in the afternoon, I had a seminar with the JNTO, an influencer seminar, which was led and facilitated by John Daub. And it went way over time. So it was scheduled for 1.5 hours and we did almost 3, I think. Close to 3. But it was insightful and fun. And also I didn't expect anything different. So it was, interesting. And that was that until now. And I hope you are also having a nice Saturday so far, wherever you may be in the world. Again, thank you for joining. And now, please let me know anything you would like to know, or if you have anything you would like to share about mistakes, faux pas you did in Japan, if you have ever been here, or things you've heard, then please share with us in the live chat. What's the temperature at your place? So inside, I would have to check. It's probably around 24, because that's what the air condition says. Maybe I should turn this down to 22. It's a little bit too much. And outside, it might be 1 or 0. So let me see. According to the weather forecast, it's 0 degrees. will go down to -4 tonight and is supposed to snow tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. And then we'll be at -4-ish. Tomorrow night, -9 though. Bad Saturday for me. I had extra classes. Oh no. I hope it was fun, at least. Or at least you learned something then, if it wasn't. Classes. So I like teaching, and teaching becomes fun, just like live streams, when there's engagement. So if people want to learn, and if you can make them want to learn. So I wouldn't say I despise, but I have a lot of understanding for teachers to just do it. Boring and without trying to engage and so on, and without trying to improve. So, which it sounds like this class is. What about the chopsticks when you finish the food, the right position to put them? Yeah, well, so for example, today I was in an Italian restaurant, and it was actually, so usually when you have a multi-course meal in a European or Western setting, then you have eat from the outside to the inside, right? So outside might be a small spoon, then a big spoon, then knife and fork and so on. And today it was big spoon, chopstick, knife and fork. In that case, you use the spoon because there's a soup. Then you have like a selection of small stuff. You need to use the chopsticks, and then you just leave them on the plate because they will take it away. But usually, so I just ate my dinner. If you have a plate and then you have chopsticks, I don't have chopsticks here, but you would put them not like knife and fork to this side or that side, but in front of here. And usually you have something to rest them on if you are in a restaurant, depending on the price. So if they are reusable, then usually you have something to rest them on. Usually you try not to point at people, so you don't put them like this, but rather to the side. Oops, sorry if you heard that. And also, so you don't point at people, you don't lick them. Even if there's delicious sauce like sticking to them, don't lick them. And just put them down. If you have like a paper thing attached to it, you can build a rest out of that paper thing, but you don't have to. And if you're done, if it's paper, then usually there's a little bit more garbage. So you can just put it back and then dispose it all together. It's 30 degrees where you are, Dreamy Senpai. That sounds either great or bad or pretty bad. But I think it's probably great. Depends on the humidity, I would say. But the thing is, with most things, when it comes to etiquette in Japan, it's not worth overthinking. So a couple of things like taking your shoes off when you go inside and so on. Like essentially when there's one stair at the end, so you open the door, there's a little area, and when there's like one stair up, then you take your shoes off out. You leave them there, or there's some dedicated area to put them. In that case, you should not walk inside with shoes. And in all other cases, almost everything else, probably just like either they will let you know politely or they ignore you because it's not really hurting anybody. I mean, if you walk inside a room, like a tatami room, the straw mat thing, and you walk in on that with your muddy shoes, that's not good because those are expensive. But in other cases, have you seen Last Samurai with Tom Cruise? He did that, and then he saw the lady cleaning up, and he changed. Are promos frequent for grocery? What do you mean by promos? Do you mean as in promotions? Permanent residence and citizenship. What is your opinion about this, Senpai? Says Dreamy Senpai. Is it a good idea? I think permanent residence is a good idea, generally, because it gives you a lot of freedom. So essentially, depending on what visa you start with. So if you start on a work visa, then this means after work visa means you're attached to your profession more or less. So if you lose your job, after some time you also lose your visa. And if you want to do something else, it might be difficult. For example, if you want to be self-employed, then you have to change visa and apply for the business manager visa, which is like shorter and harder to get and all that. But if you have permanent residency, you can do anything. Work, be self-employed, be employed, be self-employed, do nothing, live off your savings. And for me, I'm on a spouse visa. I already can do that. So I can work, do nothing, or like be employed, do nothing, be self-employed. But I still have to renew my visa every 3 years now. Maybe next time will be 5. But if I had permanent residency, then I would not have to do that. I only every 6 years I need to get a new residence card, but that's not a new visa. So that the picture is more up to date. So I think for most cases, and I will talk about not the cases that are not that are not. For most cases, it's good. And the one case I know where it's not good is if you have if you are on a special, what was the name? Highly specialized professional visa. Then, and your wife is with you in Japan based on that visa, then her parents can come to Japan as well, but not if you're a permanent resident. So that's the one thing. And then I don't know how that would change when you get when you become a naturalized and a Japanese citizen. So it's hard to. I don't really know. I didn't really look into becoming a citizen because it's essentially out of the question for me. What changes though is one, if you fuck up, essentially, if you get caught by police or something, if you get arrested and indicted, then you have to leave the country. And if you're a resident, then that's your country, so you won't be kicked out. It's one thing, and the other thing is you can vote. So if I'm not Japanese, I cannot vote here. But I also cannot become a prime minister. But if I was Japanese, I could do that, as far as I know. Not really sure about the prime minister. Maybe it's like in the US where you have to be born there, but I don't think so, actually. Okay. So grocery discounts in Japan, are they frequent? So there's a couple of things. One is for things like fruits, vegetables, and so on, the price changes all the time. Totally depends on the demand and how much is offered. And old things usually. So if the store closes, is close to closing, then a lot of things will be marked down, or things that are close to the expiry date. And also usually that's like in Japan, in the supermarkets they have bento boxes, so like food, essentially food boxes ready to eat, and this will be marked down after some time. But like for promotion, just for you to get food, not so much in the supermarkets, I think. Then there are like only vegetable and fruit stores, and they might have a bit better deals. Maybe you can even negotiate. I never tried though. What you can do though is negotiate in electronic stores. So if you buy something bigger, like computer or whatever, air conditioner, washing machine, or a lot of that, then you can ask the sales guys or the assistants there if it's possible to do something about the price, and then usually they can and will. Oh, Ninja Monkey made it again. Nice. Greetings to your small rock in Gibraltar. Won't be able to stay long. Okay, but well, better just a little bit than nothing. you can get good discount towards the end of the day, like in basement department stores. Yes, exactly. Here, a couple of supermarkets that don't actually close. And I'm thinking they just get empty by the end of the day. I think they try to time it in a way that they don't have to discount anything. Have you ever tried Indian foods like curry in Japan? Yes, also outside of Japan, and also of course Japanese curry. So actually, there's a restaurant that's like 2 kilometers from here, where I go to almost once a week or so, which has Indian food. I mean, I'm sure it's not 100% the same as it would be in India, and I always take the mild version because I can't stomach super hot stuff so well. But it's good. It's satisfying. They do a lot of naan here, which apparently they do not do in India. So you purchase something and you get like a naan, which is like this big, like flat bread essentially. And I like naan, so I don't mind. But when I go with Indian people, they always like roti or something. That's what they order instead. But Indian food in Japan is kind of not that Indian. Gibraltar is British, so we have quite good Indian food. I can imagine. Yeah, this store is actually run by Indians, so I imagine it's not so far off. And also one time I saw like a super large shipment in front of the store from India. So I imagine they order a lot there, but like the curry or so you have here, and for example, my wife likes that. That's not at all Indian, and I'm not a big fan. But it also, of course, depends. I mean, if they want to sell, then I guess they have to adjust a little bit to fit what Japanese people are expecting. Yeah, I also love Indian food, Ninja Monkey. Maybe I should go again on Monday or so. So usually I go for lunch if my family's not here. And it's a pretty spacious thing. So the seats are far enough apart that you can keep your social distance. That's probably one good thing about living in the country or kind of countryside here in Nagano, that it's easier to distance right now. And also in general, there are not so many people. I would recommend Lay's Magic Masala, but I don't know whether it's in Japan or not. But if you find it, buy and eat. It's good. Let me Google that quickly. Lay's Magic Masala. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I've ever seen Lay's in Japan. Not sure. So let me know anything you want to know, if it's about Japanese etiquette or things you should avoid, or anything you would like to share about what you have experienced. I went to an Indian restaurant in Japan once, and they didn't know what a papadam was. This steam making me hungry. The stream makes me hungry. I had papadam in that restaurant where I'm usually going, so they know. Have you missed at all Bavarian food? Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, Bavarian food, quote unquote. So Bavaria is close to Austria, and Switzerland and Italy is also not so far. So the Bavarian food is usually kind of diverse when it comes to actually being like only Bavarian food. I don't miss so much, I think. I think what would come to mind is like duck, like a quarter of a duck in dark beer sauce and dumplings. And then, of course, a lot of beer. I like that, but I don't miss it a lot. I miss things like schnitzel and so on, which are a little bit harder to get here. So I import the breadcrumbs. I have them sent to me, or when people come here, then I ask them to bring it, and then I make it myself, kind of. But it's hard to get the right meat here, which is from the calf. So I usually do it with chicken, which is better than nothing, but still, it's much easier and much more convenient to get Bavarian food in Bavaria. Who would have thought? It's also, I feel, easier because now I eat a lot of vegetables and fruits and so on. I think it's easier to get. First of all, it's cheaper in Germany, and second, it's easier to get like frozen foods, frozen vegetables and so on. Maybe that's just because Germans are like that, or maybe there are more vegans and vegetarians in Germany than here. Definitely there are. Just got on, Daniel Panek. Thank you for being here again. Talking about food, what foods do you miss that are hard to find here? Well, just mentioned schnitzel, which is my favorite. So really well done schnitzel is very, very hard to find. And the thing here is, as I mentioned, it's done from calf, and usually it's a very thin slice, but a big one. And can't essentially get a steak, but it's not usable. Too much fat, then it isn't crunchy on the outside. So schnitzel is thin cut of the calf. Then you put it into flour, then into egg, which also contains like scrambled egg, essentially. Put it inside. And there's also like salt and pepper inside, and then into breadcrumbs, and then into the pan. That's schnitzel. And first of all, the breadcrumbs do not exist here in this form. They have like bigger ones and a little bit more fluffy, but that's harder to do in the pan. It's easier to deep fry. And then again, the meat, it's really hard to get. This kind of lean, big calf in Japan. And then what else? Turkey. Turkey's hard to get. In Germany, it's like the level would be like chicken, turkey, pork, beef, probably from the price level. And usually I will go for turkey because like leanish and I like it. But I've never seen it here, I think, like turkey breast or so. Let's talk cheese in Japan. Yeah, well, I found here in Nagano, we have a supermarket chain called Tsuruya, and they have brie, which I like. So brie is like a kind of creamy cheese. It's super expensive. It's like a very thin slice like this, which is, I think, $4. But I don't go there a lot, so every time I go there, I get one. And then within a day, it's gone. But that's like a good cheese. And then they have like a little bit of selection of like kind of popular cheese. I think what would be that? So Edama would be not very frequent, but Comté sometimes. And then what's the other one? They're kind of like that, but it's not outstanding. It's not really great. It's kind of okay. It's better than nothing. But then if you want to get really good one and that's aged and so on, then you pay a lot. And I don't miss it that much that I would pay like $40 for a piece of cheese. And then they have this like cheese that I don't eat that. What's the best way to interact with Japanese people? Just be nice and talk to them. Try to speak Japanese, and they will probably like that. If you can speak Japanese. If you're not, then just try, and at some point you will find an English-speaking person. And some are more outgoing, and some are not, just like everywhere else. One thing I didn't try, but I listened to a podcast with to the Abroad in Japan podcast when there was Norm from Tokyo Lens was a guest, and he said his suggestion was, if you look at Japanese, if you look them in the eye and they look back, then you can talk to them. Essentially, because making eye contact is rather aggressive, might be rather aggressive in Japan. So if they actually look back, then probably it's okay. I mean, don't stare at people, of course, but like look at them, and if they, maybe with a smile on your face, and if they look back, that might be okay. How is Japan's cinemas and popcorn stream is making me hungry too. All right. Cinemas and popcorn. Well, cinemas I like. It's disciplined, I would say, and as in people don't laugh because they don't want to annoy others. And it's a little bit surprising every now and then if it's a comedy or something. But it's nice that people don't talk and all that and are respectful of the others. I don't like the popcorn personally because I like popcorn and then caramel around it, like sugar crunchy. But Japan usually is butter or so inside, and I can't stand that. But other people say it's great. It's like way better. So totally depends, I guess, on what you prefer. I don't like it. If you know someone on the Yokosuka Navy base, they can get turkey for you. Yes, that's true. Probably for any Navy base here. But I don't, I think. What do you think about anime? Asks Philip. Good to have you here, Philip. Long time no see. I don't mind anime, but I'm not a super hardcore anime otaku or something. Yeah, so probably a couple I like. Probably the classics like One Piece and Dragon Ball Z. I actually like Dragon Ball more than Dragon Ball Z. That's the old ones. Then I like One Punch Man. And then what did I watch recently? Let me think. There was something, but it doesn't. What was that? Yeah, so essentially I watched some anime, but not on the level that I could have like an anime nerdish conversation at all. Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. I haven't seen that. My wife did. Watched them all on Netflix, and she will get all of the manga. And they just finished, I think, a couple of weeks ago. The last volume came out. And she also wants to see the movie, which is, I think, the most successful Japanese movie ever now in Japan. And that during Corona. Can you believe it? Your favorite onsen you've been to, and when your friends visit, do they feel comfortable doing onsen? I love onsen, by the way. I also love onsen. So the first onsen I've been to is still my most favorite one. So when I came here in 2009 first time, we went to Togari Nozawa Onsen, which is not too far from here. It's also in Nagano Prefecture. And there we stayed in ryokan for 8 days. And this ryokan also has an onsen. And I still love it. And I haven't been there in a year, but I will go there again. Maybe I will make a video about it one day if the owner agrees. Last time I asked, she said yes, but not to my concept. So I guess we need some more discussion. So that's my favorite one. But generally, onsen, yes, definitely. And my friends are comfortable, I think. Maybe Germans generally are a little bit more comfortable with being naked in front of other people. Because, for example, German sauna also is naked. But I think it's not gender mixed, though. I mean, most onsen are also not gender mixed. But I think generally Americans and so on tend to have a little bit more, what's the word? A little bit more conscious about their body if they don't do anything. I love being in the onsen with you, especially on the rooftop of the hotel in Nagano, says my mother. Yes, so that's a good one. So if you come to Nagano, there's a hotel called Dormy Inn. That's a chain. And the good thing about Dormy Inn is, first of all, they're okay. They have good rooms, I think, for what they offer. And then second thing is, if you come between, I think, 9 and 11 p.m. or so, then you get a ramen for free. Well, half a ramen or something, soba ramen, I think. And the third thing is, on their roofs, they always have an onsen, or at least a sento, so a bath. And one of those is outside. So essentially, you can go outside and not really see outside, because if you can see people, they can also see you, but you can see the sky. For example, if it's night already, and it's super nice if it's snowing, like you go outside and then you have like three steps outside in the cold, and then you get inside and it's like, cool. Oh, fantastic. Have you visited all the main islands? I've been to all, says Ninja Monkey, and he need to go to Okinawa. No, I haven't. I have only been on Honshu. Not apparently, unfortunately. And I definitely also want to go everywhere. Not sure which one next. Maybe Shikoku, because my wife also hasn't been there. So it would be like a win-win. I also like Hokkaido, from what I've heard. People also say Hokkaido is kind of close to Germany when it comes to the area, how it looks and so on. So anywhere is fine. And then Hokkaido, on Kyushu, there's like the remainders. Oh, is it still there? Probably it's still there. It's like a super volcano, and there's like, I don't know, I forgot the English word, what you call it when it exploded essentially, and I forgot. It's like 25 kilometers, I think, like it's super large, and in the middle is like the new volcano coming, like growing again. I want to see that. And of course also Okinawa. Yeah, beaches and so on, and experience how different the culture may be. Garrett's Popcorn, and also it's not so expensive to go to Okinawa from Tokyo. I think maybe $100 or so, or less. Garrett's Popcorn in Chicago is great, says Daniel. There's one location near Harajuku, if you ever visit Tokyo. Caramel corn sounds like your style. Crunchy caramel covered popcorn. Oh, sounds nice. I don't eat sugar anymore though, so probably not gonna happen anytime soon. I mean, I'm not planning to go to Tokyo also. I'm sad to say that I'm about to leave. I missed the stream. Thank you. Goodbye. Sing a song. No, but thank you for being here, and have a great day. Hokkaido in the summer is so nice. Plenty of cheese and great milk there. Oh yes. All the milk products always from Hokkaido in Japan. Hokkaido butter and so on. By the way, it's really hard. Or when I left Tokyo, it was really hard to get butter there. Non-salted butter. And in Germany, we essentially have no salted butter. So we don't want anything else. And also, if you bake stuff and so on, or if you fry stuff using butter, of course you want non-salted. So that was super hard to get in Tokyo. However, here it's fine. Here's plenty. We have like 2 or so in the fridge now. I went to Shikoku recently, visited many temples, shrines, and castles. I shared some videos, says Kirk Jamaipanese. Excellent. May take a look later. Highly recommended. Nice. Yeah, a friend of mine, or acquaintance of mine, who came to Japan in 2016, he did the temple, was it temple, shrine? Temple tour, like 88 different temples or shrines on Shikoku. Essentially, he walked, and he lost a lot of weight. He looked great afterwards. Daniel says, by Dreamy Senpai, the answer isn't going to change on singing the song. I actually thought about what I could sing, but I won't. At least not today. Hey, Daniel's here. I know. See you in upcoming stream, Daniel. See you hopefully again, Dreamy Senpai as well. Temples, says Japanese temples it was. Are you getting more and more indigenous, this word, saying eto, and thinking about what to say? Yeah, but that's an easy one to pick up. Also, I have to take care not to look too foolish, like combining English and Japanese. Gotta head off, okay? By the way, Kochi Castle, my favorite Japanese castle. I'm a big I'm a bit of a castle otaku. I see. Then have a great day, Ninja Otaku. Not Ninja Otaku. Ninja Monkey / Castle Otaku. Thank you for joining. Also, Cartillo has to go to sleep now. Love you and your videos. Thank you, Cartillo. Love you too. Have a great sleep. Yeah, it's great to have this kind of. The nice thing when you comment here is that I see again, like every time who's joining, and I kind of get to know you more and more, and understand who is my core audience that participates here, or at least the people that are online when I'm doing these live streams. A Ninja Monkey, when I went, it was closed for renovation, so only got to see the grounds. Oh no, this is about Kochi Castle. Too bad. Also, when I went to Matsumoto Castle last, which was in December 2019, it was being renovated, but still open to the public. It was also pre-corona though. There goes to being careful not to look foolish. Yeah. What about Mochi? Our friends in Germany have started to make his own with his son. Yes, I think it's great. I'm not particularly, I haven't eaten mochi in half a year or so since I started stopping to eat sugar. But I must say I'm kind of okay with mochi, but I'm not super great fan. I said to myself that if I should go back into eating sweets more than fruits, then probably I will just eat wagashi, so like the Japanese sweets, which are not as sweet as like German traditional sweets, like gummy bears and so on. And that would also include mochi, but I'm personally not a super big mochi fan. Uwajima Castle was my favorite on Shikoku. I see. Any comments on the fact that you can't find soap and paper towels in many public bathrooms near some of these temples and points of interest? 8:20 a.m. here. I'd like to try to make these streams. Thank you. Yes, that's true. I'm convinced that one of the most important items to have with you in Japan is a small handkerchief, essentially. Carried with you in summer, you will sweat like hell, and then you get inside, and there's like super air conditioned, like you go from 35, humidity 100%, or 99.9% to 20, and you're dying. Essentially, you get a cold immediately. So wipe it off, and then if you go to a public bathroom where there's no paper towels, use your towel, use your handkerchief. And soap, yeah, true. Sometimes they don't have that. Frequently, they don't have that. But I think in most convenience stores, they do. Do you know Ainu people or culture? I don't personally know any Ainu people, but I think they're not. I don't know how many are remaining. I think it's less than 100,000, maybe just 10 or so. 10,000. And I'm not. I don't know more than what's written on Wikipedia, and also of that I forgot a lot, I think. So I'm not particularly. I don't have any remarkable knowledge. You're zuckerfrei, says Daniel. I am. But on Christmas, I started eating fruits again, on Christmas Eve. That's what we celebrate in Germany. And I had like 2.5 strawberries, which was great. And now every morning I eat a bowl of fruits. So 1 apple, 1 orange, 1 banana, and 1 strawberry. And that gets sliced and diced and eaten. My last one was together in Birach. Oh, I see. The good thing about all this COVID-19 pandemic is that working from home will be an option. I'm hopefully going to be working from my second home in Sapporo soon. Oh, nice. So does mean you already have, sorry if you told me before, you already have a first home in Japan as well? And yeah, exactly. That I also took advantage of the situation. Essentially, this year, probably I haven't been in the office this year, but last year, from the beginning of March or middle of March, I went to the office probably less than 10 times. And then we said, why should we stay there? Why should we have this small apartment where we can't go outside because there's so many people and it's super stressful with the kids and so on? If we can go to a place where we pay the same price for twice the size, have some area outside on our property where the kids can play, and where we essentially where there's so little people, or where it's so spacious that you don't have to evade people all the time and be concerned. And the internet is still pretty fast, probably much faster than for and allow me to say that for most of you. So, and that's what we did. So we moved. That's why we are here now. Being a foreigner, what are your thoughts on the Japanese response to COVID-19 compared to the massive actions in Europe? Yeah, it's totally insufficient. That being said, it has been, I wouldn't say dodged a bullet. They dodged a bullet here, but it has been like the impact, I mean, could have been much worse. And I mean, Tokyo is still not the best, I think. I haven't been to Tokyo this month. I don't know how the situation is now on the trains and so on. But the last time I've been, they were still packed. So it's still like, if it gets over a certain threshold, I imagine the numbers will increase massively. You did not need to move that far. Yokosuka was much closer, and we have a beach here. Says Eddie in San Diego. Shouldn't you be Eddie in Yokosuka? Yes, Yokosuka is probably also nice. I think I've never been there, but my wife's family and my wife is from Nagano, so that was the logic thing. Originally, when Japan, I thought we could move somewhere, maybe go to Matsumoto because I like it there, or try something completely different. But then thinking about it, if I would move to Germany, I would move there for my family, so I would like to be close to them. And then continuing the thought, of course, I understood that it would make sense for my wife and her family to be close. So Nagano it was. And Nagano it is. Oh, thank you, Daniel Panic. $10. I know the vending machine teas are typically unsweetened. So here's to the tea fund for you and your wife. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Actually, today I had 150 yen unsweetened tea to warm me up. It specifically said that with like ginger and stuff. And it was pleasantly not sweet. With the rise in COVID in Japan, how is the perception of the things regarding the Olympics? First voices mentioned it's maybe getting cancelled. I don't know. So usually I don't talk so much about the Olympics to people anymore because it's essentially out of everybody's. It's outside of the view. Everybody's like, what Olympics? And I'm also totally unsure if this will work or not. I mean, if they would like to do that, they have to let people in spring, probably. Or they have something like they only allow athletes to come in and have Olympics without people, which would be a pretty bad compromise for Japan, I think, because the people bring the money. But it might be better than nothing. Yeah, and until there's immunity because of vaccination, might take until summer. So I'm really not sure if that's going to happen. That's my thoughts, and I think many people have similar thoughts. But again, I think also a lot of people care more about the current situation than about the Olympics. Aminox says, wife lives in Sapporo. Hopefully soon I can be more with her. I see. I hope you can. 180 days away to the Olympics. Oh my, only 180 days. Vaccines haven't started. Need to get shots in arms. Yes, haven't started, I think, next month or so. But I don't actually know how much they ordered and how they're planning to distribute and all that. In Nagano, so here, Nagano City is still, they have a scale, I think it's 1 to 5 or so. Nagano City is 3 or so currently, so it's not super critical. But a lot of cities in Nagano Prefecture already are 5. And of course, Tokyo is in, Kanto is in state of emergency, and there are people that want like a national state of emergency again. So we'll see. And I mean, you probably know already. So the current state of emergency is not as strict, if you can call that strict at all, as the previous one was. So now it's just like offices should be empty, or should be only 30% of their capacity, and then things like bars and so on should close by 8 p.m. It's all like, you see, you hear the should, right? So then don't must. It's not must. It's should. A very strong recommendation. And I mean, I think most people follow, but some can't. I only spent autumn in Yokosuka, says Eddie in San Diego. Ah, I see. Are you there with the army, or are you just like Yokosuka? German state of emergency. Everyone is locked in their homes and work from there. Yes, essentially, I think. I think they're discussing to stop public transportation, even, which might be pretty tough for some people, I think. I think is it still that in Germany you're not allowed to go outside after 9 p.m.? Hometown, says Eddie in San Diego. Okay, I see. Japanese state of emergency. Government asks everyone to pretty please don't get sick. Yeah, it's like a lot of people are confused. Like, does Corona now only affect? Can you get Corona only after 8 p.m. or what? But of course, some of the critical areas are like nightclubs and so on. You know, people go there after work, and then they drink, so they don't wear masks, and they are close to each other and so on. In the US, it's going slow. Need to give around 500 million doses because there will be 2 shots. You really need to move shots. Oh, I see. They're explicitly not stopping public transportation in Germany, and you are still allowed to go out. I see. Hard to compare Japan with other countries. Civil rights are extremely strong in Japan. They can't do the Chinese model there, thankfully. Yes. And then on the other hand, Japan is also an island, so it's a little bit harder to, or it's a little bit easier to control the borders and yeah. But still, it's also a very dense country. I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of. I mean, I like that COVID has given me this opportunity to move away from Tokyo, but that's it. So we originally planned to go to Germany for 4 weeks over the holidays, and that didn't work out. So hopefully this year, I hope maybe in summer or so, or then for Christmas again. Or, yeah, both, or maybe one time family and one time only me. Hopefully, let's see what happens. I don't have any drinks. I don't have any water left. The US lack of response is incredible to me. COVID is killing more than 9/11 every day. The US started several wars because of that. Oh, Dreamy Senpai is back. Welcome back. I hope your class was not too bad. Seemed like a quick one. Yeah, US pretty bad. It's like 4,000 fatalities a day or so, I think. I really hope they manage to turn it around and you know. Nothing more to add, really. I think I know only one person who got infected, but this person had no symptoms, had to go into quarantine and so on, but nothing personally. Hi, Tani, joined in late. Heard Japan has closed down for business visitors again. Yeah, I think that's also there. Time here now is 11:36 p.m. So today my family is not here, so I can do this. I thought, okay, well then, let's make a nice live stream, talk to you. Well, what's that? I think Japan had opened also. What was it? I think it allowed people from Japan to go outside for business for up to 1 week or so and come back without having to quarantine for 2 weeks. If I don't know if that made sense, but they allowed that at least for trial phase. Yeah. Anyway, should we change topic maybe? Too much about COVID. That's too bad. I remember a few weeks ago there were plans to reopen Japan in April. Yes, definitely there were, but I'm kind of not seeing it right now. Me neither. Hope Japan opens up until end of this year. Want to catch some strong wins on Honshu. I hope so. I think end of the year is something that we could consider as realistic, but probably April is not. April is not, and Olympics is. Let's call it aggressive. How often do you travel to Germany in a normal year? About once, I would say. Last year was twice. Once to visit my family, then unfortunately shortly after for a funeral. And the year before, I think once. No, twice. For Christmas and then in May for a seminar. And the year before that, I was once in 2017, but 2 months. So pretty long. And then last year I wasn't, unfortunately. So this is not the longest time I've ever been outside of Germany for, getting close to 1.5 years. But hopefully this year it will work out. What kind of music do you like? So I don't listen to a lot of music. And usually I don't just go through what Spotify recommends me. Recently it stopped working on my work machine. Maybe some block or so. And I like older music. Oh, Eddie in San Diego gave $5. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. How's it going? Good. Now even better. So I don't have a particular. I don't like this kind of idol music and so on that's popular in Japan so much. But there are a couple that are really also not only like looking good but can sing, and I appreciate that. Like I appreciate the skill and the time they put in. But I can't think about a particular artist or genre. How do you pronounce genre in English? Genre maybe. I can't think about a particular one right now. So I'm not a super music person. I mean, maybe if you listen to my videos, then you get the kind of idea in what direction I like. So I don't like electric a lot. So you don't hear the typical vlog music, but you might hear a little bit more string instruments, violin and so on. I was going to say Christmas seems to be the holiday people go back home for. Yes, I think so. At least in where I'm from, it's a very, or at least in my family, it's a family holiday essentially, and it's compared to Japan, it's great in Germany, I think, because my family is there and there's this Christmas feeling for me that I get from, and it's a very close connection to my family. Whereas in Japan, it's more of a because it's a religious thing, right? And Japan, especially Germany, especially southern Germany, is very Christian, and Japan is not at all. So what's here is not the religious and love and what's behind that, but it's more the financial aspect of Christmas. So buy Christmas stuff and things like that. One time though, I met a Santa Claus in front of Nagano Station, and he was actually a foreigner, and he gave away presents. I got one, and it was a Bible, so a Japanese Bible wrapped in Christmas paper, wrapping things. Yeah, it was. I wouldn't say unexpected really, because I didn't expect a lot, but yeah, I couldn't do a lot with that. Couldn't read it back then. Just out of curiosity, flying from Germany to Japan from maybe Frankfurt with JAL or Düsseldorf with ANA is typically, with a good offer, roughly 750 euros. How are the prices the other way around? Ridiculously expensive. I think Germany do you say substitute? Germany pays a lot to outgoing flights and coming to the round trips from Germany and back, but not the other way around, or at least not so much. So if you go from Japan to Germany, it might even be cheaper to go book from Germany to Japan and back and just take the flight back. Yeah, unfortunately. So when I go with my family, usually it's like 5,000 euros or so, which is a lot. It's definitely probably it's at least twice, I think. Maybe have to check how it's currently, but it's not it's not as cheap as that, especially one way. Usually, if I go alone, then I might go like with Air China or so on. Then it's like in this range. But if I go with ANA, I go to Munich. If I go with ANA to Munich, it's super pricey. At least 1,200, I think, maybe more. Madman is back again. Wow, thank you for being here again. Is there any churches in Japan? Yes. There are a lot of churches. However, the ones that look really nice, they're big and so on, they are only for weddings. So if you want to get married in a church, which many Japanese want, then you go there. And there will be an actor, probably Caucasian actor, Caucasian male, who will speak with an accent like me, and then he will marry you. So for example, here, when I lived in Nagano for the first time, there was a job ad for a wedding minister, and I thought about doing that. Would have been fun, at least for a story, but I didn't. Anyway, that exists. And then there are also the real churches, and usually they're smaller, and sometimes you don't even realize them. They are churches until you read Christo Kyokai or something, Christian church. Bye, my dear. Goodbye. Christmas feeling in Japan. Been there once. Got to Koyasan on this 23rd, left on the 26th. All decorations gone everywhere, like it has never happened before. Yes. It's like 25th is Christmas, and then that's it, because the New Year comes around. And New Year is a more Japanese event than Christmas. So that's actually the event where you have time with your family. And Christmas is more of a couple thing. So you go dating or something. As a Christian, I would like to visit some churches in Japan. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you visit, for example, churches in Europe, usually you have this old majestic, big buildings that are super impressive and so on. And that's not going to be here. So here it would be more temples or shrines and so on. And even they are usually not so old, because they're wooden and they burn down. And churches, yeah, I mean, you will find some. If you walk around, you will eventually stumble into some, but it's not. I mean, if you come for the architecture, that's probably not worth your while. But if you come for the religion, then it might be. I don't know. I can't really say. You got any future plans? For me privately, still discussing. So I can't say no. And for the channel, become super big and get all the subscribers and so all that. So, and in order to that to happen, please share my content and watch it again. and all that. But for the content, I mentioned it last time already, so I want to focus for now on this area here and bring you more about essentially the secrets, the hidden spots of Nagano and Nagano Prefecture, central Japan. That's what I want. That are my future plans. And then, yeah. Recently, I asked a friend, Tokini Andy, what his plans are for subscribers. He reached 10,000. What's his plans for this year? And he said he doesn't make plans about subscribers or sets himself like goals like that because he cannot influence that. So I like that. So rather than that, I would say I want to focus on this kind of videos and maybe make 1 or 2 really good videos that I'm proud of per month. That would be great. Subsidized cost of flight. That's the word I was looking for. Yes. Hey, Madman, says Dreamy Senpai. What's up, Dreamy Senpai, says Madman. Yes. What I really liked about last Wednesday's live stream is that people started to help each other out. And that this kind of conversation of this like becoming more of a community that's like, helping each other and growing together. I really liked and appreciated that. Have you ever been to the US? I recommend Chicago in the summer. I haven't. I don't know when and if. Does Japan host anime cosplay every year? I think so. So I was in an office that was close to an event place where the Comiket, if you know that, is held. I think it's the biggest comic convention. And then when I went to work, first of all, the trains were packed, and it was on an island in the Tokyo Bay, and then it was queuing to the next island, and maybe even the one after. So it was so many people. It's like almost 1 million people coming or so, and most of them are cosplaying. And they are there's cosplay events. They're also like more fetish, I think fetish fests or something like that. A friend of mine, I mentioned him last time, Tristan from around Akiba, he went there once and made a video, and there are lots of things like that. Probably not every year, but every month or so. Maybe not now, but generally, yes, there are a lot of opportunities for cosplay. It's so hard to even get to the 1,000 subs on YouTube. I can't stream from the YouTube app if I don't have that for mobile streams. I see. I tried it once. It didn't work, unfortunately. Couldn't establish. I'm not really sure why. It might be that my it's not in my plan and my provider is blocking that, or something else. Maybe it was just the connection where I was. But that being said, 1,000 subs. When did I reach that? I think it took me like 5 months or so. Is making videos fun for you, or is it like a burden, editing included? Yes and no. Depends. So usually when it's fresh, so I get the material and I do it quickly and so on, then it's fun. And it's also fun if I can make a certain part of a video make really nice, where I see like, that's like this part is meant to be combined with that part and with this music and so on, this transition and so on. And then if I can have a couple of that or even a lot, that makes a great video if the story is also good. For me, it's something I'm satisfied with and I like, but sometimes if it drags itself out, or if I then have to do something else and come back after some days or so, and it takes too long, then it becomes a burden. And because I know, of course, I want to finish that. Nice to see you, my friend. Our family lunch is ready. All right, Dimitri. Thank you so much for being here. Greetings to your family and stay safe. And practice Aikido. What's the most important thing to survive in Japan? Things to survive in Japan. What kind of Japanese culture shocked you? Most important thing to survive in Japan? Food, probably. And I mentioned it before, so having a small towel, a handkerchief thing with you is always helpful. And then what else is cash is also very helpful. So many places don't accept credit cards. and the ATMs close at night, many of them, or on the weekend, or depending on the timing, you might have to pay more or have to pay it all for getting money. So cash is good to have. Then if you're driving a car, a C card is good to have. So on the highway, if you have to pay tax, what's it called, toll, and some of the gates, most of the gates only accept like electronic payment. So you have to have a card inside of your car, and some accept cash, but some entrances don't even have a cash entrance. So EC would be the way to go in that case. And other things to survive: knowing how to flush on the toilet. So essentially knowing the kanji for big and small might be very helpful. Sometimes you have to search a little bit. So sometimes you have like a light barrier in the wall and you have to touch that. It's not immediately obvious that's a button. What else is there? Using chopsticks is very helpful. You can, of course, ask for knife and fork every time, but not everybody might have it. And it's also annoying. They probably understand what you mean if you say knife fork, please, or something. But if you can use chopsticks, at least like rudimentary, so that you can grab things and get it from plate to mouth, then you're essentially on the safe side. You don't need to know so much. I mean, you speak English, I strongly assume, and you will get by with that. Of course, it's nice to have like a couple of survival phrases, but not so much. And what part of Japanese culture shocked me? It's really hard to say because I get used to everything and it becomes not normal. It's like added to my arsenal of cultural behaviors. So let me think. And while I think, let me also read a couple of more comments. How should I start learning Japanese? Buy Genki books and study, says Aminox. Okay. He already posted a video about it. I did, yes. Make sure to watch it. It really works. It worked for me. That's really great to hear. If going to language school in Japan is an option, it's much better to do this. I don't know. I haven't been. Depends. I think it depends on what the language school is targeting at. If they are targeting a certain JLPT level, it might be limited use. But if it's like a lot of conversation with actual Japanese people, that's really good, I think. And what will make you speak Japanese is being in a situation where you have to speak Japanese. So, for example, do a homestay or something, go to a Japanese university, things like that. Bringing yourself in that situation, that will make you improve a lot. Because your brain knows, I need this. Let's not forget. I think this will make you very efficient. And then generally, Japanese, be it Genki books or anything, you need to invest the time. So you need to find a way where you can continually, day by day, learn a certain amount of Japanese. And it has to be fun, or at least engaging or something. Because like discipline essentially means you have to have discipline if you want to do something you don't want to do, essentially, right? That's discipline. So if you can make it in a way that you don't need discipline, that it's actually fun, something you want to do and go back to, that would be excellent. That's probably even not excellent, that's like the basis. If you don't go to language school, where it's essentially forced into you, even if you don't feel like it, then that's a very essential building block, I think, of language learning. Okay, I have to catch up a little bit. My brother-in-law makes YouTube videos. He has 521,000 subscribers. It took him years to get there. It took over a year to get enough to quit his $45,000 salary job. He worked it like a second job. Yeah, I get that. I think so. Yes, I think so too. I mean, just as Japanese or so on, or if you want to do YouTube as a job, then you have to invest the time like a job. And I mean, currently I don't do that, but still, I hope you get something out of it, all of you. When you first came to Japan and saw the big buildings and people around, how did it feel? How did that feel? I think overall it was fascinating. I think we went from the airport to the city in a bus and I took so many pictures. That's what I remember. I also remember this kind of specialized stores. Like, it was really hard for me to find a store where there's everything, back then at least. That's what I remember. And big buildings, wasn't so impressed by that. I think it didn't last. It didn't make me have a lasting memory. Then, yes, this is big and this is small. Daniel Panic, he knows his business. That's pun intended. Munich versus Nagano, what will it be? It's hard to say. For me, ideally, it would be something like in between, where I can be in both, like maybe 3 months in Germany, 9 months in Japan or so. But it's hard right now with the kids and also with my job. Personally, I have a stronger connection to Munich because I've been there much longer. But of course, it changes by the day. Every day I get to know Nagano more. Any good movies to watch? So day before yesterday or so, I watched Grand Hotel Budapest again. Love it. Maybe even my favorite movie. And then today I started watching a Netflix series called Lupin. In Japanese it's Rupan. Just because I like the anime. Speaking of anime again, so Lupin the Third, which was at least one of them was done by Hayao Miyazaki, whom I like. So yeah, that's why I started watching this today, and it was entertaining. It's with Omar Sy, I don't know how it's pronounced, who's a great actor, I think. Spaced repetition software and mnemonics, and watch his video. Yes, definitely spaced repetition and mnemonics. I mean, learn as efficient as you can. So investing a little bit of time and learning how to learn best is a good thing, I think. Do you use Instagram more often? I use it. I mean, I check it daily, essentially, and but no, I mean, if I have something good to post, then I do it, but it's not like I have a plan or anything. Now, the difference between otoko and onna is very, very important. Yes, so male and female is also a very important sign. So if you go to an onsen, then there may be a noren, like a Japanese curtain in the entrance. One is often blue, and that's the sign for male. And then there's a red one with the sign for female. But there might also not be a color, and they also might change overnight so that all the guests of the onsen can experience both baths. So knowing where to go, not going to the female bathroom accidentally, is very helpful in not getting deported. Every foreigner says, I lost weight when I visited Japan. That line really scares me. I'm 20 years old and I'm just 45 kilograms. I'm underweight. Yeah, I didn't. I absolutely gained weight when I came here. Not too much, like 72 to 75 or so. So 3 plus 3. But also, like, essentially the tissue, if I may say so, changed. So it became from red to white. So from muscle mass to fat. And now it's back. Now I'm like 70 or so. Yeah, but it's not necessarily like that, I think. I mean, essentially, if you get enough calories in, then you don't lose weight. So if you lose, it depends on what you eat and how much. And I mean, it's good food here. So if you eat a lot, you won't lose weight. Then on the other hand, there's a tendency to walk a lot in Tokyo and so on. So you have to take care, maybe. Do you think that a Japanese company would appreciate if I go to Japan and go to the language school for a year, or would they think I didn't do anything for a year, job-wise, wasted time? Depends. So if I would interview you, it would depend. One, so you're missing 1 year of experience, right? So then I would expect your Japanese to be on point, essentially, or at least for you to have like, I had JLPT N5, but after a year I had N2. That would be impressive. If it was N3, then okay, still did something. But if you don't have anything, for your investment, then I would be a little bit concerned maybe with your motivation. Are Japanese people very friendly or a bit rude? Oh yeah, both, just like everywhere. So it depends where you are. So people in Nagano, I feel, tend to be a little bit more friendly because they say hello when they see you and so on often. And in Tokyo, people don't have time for that or so on. Or there's so many people that it's too exhausting. I don't know why. So it depends where you are and what people you meet. People screaming at each other and so on, that's pretty rare. Have I ever seen that? I've seen somebody hitting someone once and screaming. Yeah, I think I mentioned it before. So we changed office and we went to our favorite pizza place in that area for the last time. And then once we were done, we went outside and stood on the sidewalk in front of the pizza place. And then an old man came and screamed, "Doke!" like, fuck off, essentially. So that was like, sometimes something like that happens, but it's not like, affecting me a lot. Just see what else works in IT. Okay, I see. Yeah, like I said, that would be my response if you took a year for language learning. But I would also say if you want to focus on learning Japanese for a year, then do that. Lupin was a real thief. So both Lupin III and the Netflix Lupin are based on the same person, while Lupin III is the grandson. Yes, he is. But it wasn't. I know it was written. When was it written? I think the author died in 1941 and was born in 1864. So I just looked him up today. But I don't know if that was based on a real person or not. But if you say so. Hayao Miyazaki is really an awesome anime creator. I think so. I really like all his movies. I haven't seen all, but all the ones I've seen, I think Totoro is still my favorite, and I've probably watched it like 15 times or so. But I love it. I like the spacing and so on, and the scenery and so on, where he puts it, and essentially the simplicity of this, the making the ordinary extraordinary of this movie. What's the sign for mixed onsen? I don't know. I don't remember. I've only been in one once, and I think there was no sign. Though probably there was, because the entrances are still separate in that case. So the women can. So if it's mixed, I think usually the water is not clear. It's like in that case it was white. So the women can get inside and in the water, and then walk while the water is like here. So they don't expose, and the men just went in like, yeah, like that. Do you think COVID will end in 2021 finally? And then Daniel says we are past the topic of the C word. Yeah, I hope it ends, but I can't say. So that's that for that topic. Healthy Famichiki. Yes, very healthy. I'm 194 centimeters tall. The biggest problem in Japan is buying clothes and shoes in my size. I can understand that. Thankfully, I have usually shoes in Japan go until 27.5 or so, or maybe 28 centimeters. So I measured in centimeters, and I have 27.5. So I'm lucky, thankfully. And size is also kind of okay. Thankfully, again, I can get by, but 194, yeah, probably is tough. Do you still practice martial arts in Japan? Yes and no. So yes, of course, and it doesn't stop. But currently, because it's a very contact-intensive martial art, I don't go to training. So I have to do things at home. Actually, this right here, you see that thing here? That's a wooden training sword. So I have it here just in case, I want to move a bit. I'm trying for N2 in 2023 and I'm working hard. Wish me luck, senpai. All the best. You can do it. Aminox is a titan, says Dreamy Senpai. Really a great time talking to you, but my time is over, man. See you again. Madman, as always, thank you for being here. Have a great day. I'm wondering how they will do JLPT this summer. People from last summer and winter couldn't take the exam, yes. And they are always limited in how many people can take the exam. Yeah, I also don't know. Also, I've never taken a JLPT, so I actually don't know how it is. One of my colleagues recently passed N2. I mean, recently, when he could take it. And he had quite some attempts. I think it was the third or so, fourth. Yeah, maybe I'd take one day, but don't worry about it. My wife is 155 centimeters and says the same. Says Aminox. Okay. So Aminox's wife also calls him Titan. That's nice. Okay. Lupin was fictional. All right. Yes, was fictional. I read on Wikipedia that he even met Sherlock Holmes once, but then Arthur, what's his name, Doyle, Arthur Nantuka Doyle, he complained, and then in the next printed version, he changed it from Sherlock Holmes to Sherlock Holmes. How clever! Okay, so Japanese also has to leave. Wants to catch me off these. Really appreciate it again. I'm trying to take a look at your videos about Shikoku. I hope I remember. Have a great day. I used to live in Nagano also in 2006. Wow. How did you like it? And why are you not living here anymore? Says Sim1. What is a bokken? Are there different wooden training swords? Yeah, I mean, bokken, as it says, it's they're different types. So this one is a very light one. So it doesn't go so much on your wrists and ankles, not ankles, but on your bones, on your joints. That's the word. And as the word says, it's a wooden sword essentially, and you practice with that. You treat it like a sword, so it's curved. This means one side is the sharp side, this one here, and this is also not touchable in practice, and this side is. And if you hit somebody, you should do with this part. That's the sharpest. That's what it's made for. And also, if you would practice kendo, so this would give you points, and this part, I think it wouldn't. You might put a tsuba in here. That's the thing that protects your hands here. And I don't know how much it's actually protecting in real. If you had a real sword, but if you practice with wooden swords and it's coming here, it's really good to have. Also, it gives you more feeling of where you can do this, and if you have a tsuba. Also, it's if you thrust. So if you had a smaller one like a wakizashi or tanto, and you thrust into somebody, and you don't hit a soft part like the stomach, but like up here around the heart where there are the ribs, and you thrust and you don't have a tsuba, then you hurt yourself because you touch here, right? You push, and that's why that's useful. So that's a bokken, and then there are you can also call them bokto. So again, to is for sword, and the heavier ones, which have a different form and so on, and then the super heavy ones, which also have a different name, which I don't remember right now. Yeah, so that's the bokken. Anything interesting about Nagano that you want to share? Danny asked to Sim1. I would also like to know. And if you have any special tips and anything you think I should visit, then please let me know. Hello again, Sos Moriarty Vivaldi. How are you doing today? Good, thank you. And you hopefully too. Fantastic name. Someone mentioned Sherlock and now Moriarty is here. Hey, Moriarty. Arthur Conan Doyle. Yes, that's exactly. Conan, that's... Actually, she started calling me Titan after Attack on Titan. Oh, I see. Became famous. I think it is meant as a joke. Oh, not really a compliment in the context. I see. I haven't seen Attack on Titan. Nagano was lovely. I left because visa expired, but I wish to go back. Ah, I see. Good. The good old visa. Rimi Senpai is not an Attack on Titan fan too. I see. Yeah, haven't seen. Might see one day, but don't know. Also, I'm caught up with the chat. Who would have known? It's already past midnight. That went quick. Escalated quickly. So maybe, okay, then let's say 5 more minutes. So let me know any questions you have now. If you have a lot, then probably I go overtime as usual. But let's target for 5 more. You really should watch Attack on Titan. All right. Oh, you saw that? Again, the light went off, out of battery. So that's always telling me it's time. About 12 years ago, some friends talked me into joining Yaido, with them. I didn't enjoy the time I was there for months, weeks that I went. No interest, and I didn't enjoy the personality of the group. I see. Yeah, of course, depends. Tell us about your favorite books if you have time. I do. But first, let me talk about Yaido again. Yaido. And interestingly, in German, we fuse the I and the A, so it becomes Ya. And then if you say Yaido, Japanese don't understand because it's not Iaido. I did Iaido as well because my teacher did it, and it was kind of okay. I never did it to the level where it would really, get a lot out of it. It becomes like super automated. But I still like the kata and so on to do that every now and then. So favorite book is Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. I like that, and I kind of relate to it a lot. That's all I can say. And then let me think. A book I enjoyed when I had it was The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by, I forgot. And then I gave it away. And that was the end. I think I only read it once. It was nice. It was so nice of you to host a live stream for us. Arigato, says Eddie in San Diego. I totally appreciate that you're here. If you wouldn't be here, I couldn't do that. I mean, I would be alone, so it'd be a little bit boring. And now 20 people. 22. Amazing. Amazing. It's like getting more and more the longer it goes. Thank you so much. My shin hurts. Hurts, says Benjamin. And by Eddie from Dreamy Senpai. Okay. So let me know if you have more. We still have 2 minutes. We appreciate you sharing the time. And I appreciate you sharing the time. I mean, everybody's time. How do you suggest best learning how to learn about strong and weak vowel sounds? What vowel they don't say? You mean like the voicing? There's a rule, essentially. If it's like, of course there are exceptions. I think there are exceptions, but essentially, if there's a voice and if an E or an I are between two voiceless consonants, then they are devoiced. That's the rule. Now, what's a voiceless consonant? So in Japanese, you have the dakten. That's a that. For example, if shi becomes, and then you put the 2 points, then becomes a D, right? So it's essentially the same you make the same sound, but you engage here. So sh, d, d, she, and then d, so g. So she, g. Right? One time you don't hear this, and one time you hear it. And the she is, so everything that has a duct in is a voiceless consonant, essentially. So then, let me think about a word where you do the voice. To. Let me just bring up a word I looked up on my dictionary, because I can't come up with anything. I said I or E, right? But it's actually I or U. Sorry. To. No. So even though I'm too sleepy now to come up with an example, if you remember that and hear it the next time, then probably what you hear falls into this category. Hope that was kind of helpful. You've probably answered it before. What? Okay, I just go on. Is Japanese most close to visitors now? I'm not sure, actually. I think so. I think it's close to. I think residents can come here and come back and then have to quarantine for 2 weeks, but non-residents, I think, cannot come to Japan. Have you noticed that Japanese songs don't typically rhyme at the end of lines? Yes, I haven't. I think that's the case, but I haven't noticed it. I would like to listen to you all day, but consider your health too. When you're 100% healthy, let's host a 24-hour live stream. No, I mean, that would be terrible. I would die. My voice. I mean, maybe in summer it would be better, because now I have the air conditioner on and it just gets super dry. That's hot. Kaga. Yes, for example, so the k is the voiceless k, right? You don't engage here. And then if you make it g, then you hear here. Example, ski, not ski. Yeah, excellent example. So ski, so s, right? S, and then you put the duct in, it's a z, right? And ki and gi. So that's two voiceless consonants, and in between you have the u. And it becomes ski. Very interestingly, it's devoicing, quote unquote. So it means it doesn't devoicing, not as is becomes like not as loud, take away volume, but this way you position your mouth is different still if it's a you or an I. For example, we went to a ryokan called Takte, and I thought it was Takte. You hear the difference? Probably not, but Takte and Takte. So one is a U and one's an I. It's actually with an I. I didn't realize that for quite some time. Kaga, hanabana. Vowel devoicing usually occurs in a vowel sound in between two voiceless consonants, especially K, specifically K as sh, t, ch, h, and f, and on rare occasions apparently B and P. There you go. I lost track. Mine was rendaku. Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's been almost 10 minutes. So then, it's your birthday, 14th of May. Don't tell anyone. So now, with that being said, the secret being shared, you also have a nice day, nice night, wherever you may be, whatever time it may be. And see you all next time, hopefully soon. Thank you all for joining and for your time. I used to say Mujikachi instead of instead of Muzukashi. Muzukashi maybe? And people would laugh so much. You're Korean. Are you Korean? Because I think it's a very Korean thing to or that's what I hear when Koreans speak. Even though they're Japanese very good, I hear sometimes the S being a little bit G. Another thing many people do is they use the lips too much. Also Germans for O and so on. They don't say O, they say O, ma. Anyway, all right. Have a nice night. Thank you for the stream. I used this. Okay. Schönes Restwochenende dir auch. Thank you for the stream. Thank you. Bye bye. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night. Sweet dreams. And you're Canadian. Oh my God. All right. Well then, I guess we all made mistakes, and yeah. So then, thank you all. Have a nice night, and see you next time. Take care.